I'm Rick, and I'm building the Terminator. This morning, I fitted the main sheaves into the muzzle of the stock. The first step was to try and work out where they should go. I wanted about a foot, that is, 30 centimetres of overhang for the spear. I know my slip tips are 150 millimetres long. That's 6 inches, so I needed another 6 inches of spear hanging out from the front of the stock. I measured it all up and marked out a line where I was going to cut the tip of the stock off later. The sheaves have to be put into a slot which drops down through the top of the stock, but I wanted a bit of meat in front of the slots just to make sure that the muzzle was reasonably strong. Then I had to work out how wide to space them on either side of the spear channel. I left a gap of about 2 millimetres between the spear channel and where I planned to cut the slot. I marked the spot with a gauge. I used the sheave to work out how long the slot should be. I left 10 millimetres clearance at either end. I used a handheld router to actually cut the slots. The bit was 12 millimetres wide to leave a little bit of side play. Had to be careful, but I cut the through slots quite okay. The next step was to work out just how high those sheaves ought to be in the stock and where to position the spindle hole. I wanted the top of the pulley groove to be maybe 2 or just a tad more millimetres above the level of the top of the stock. I positioned it and carefully marked out where I was going to drill. It's much easier to do the drilling when it's all in the square. Don't fall for the temptation of rounding off the stock before you drill these holes. Then I dry fit the pulley sheave. It looked the right height and it turned okay. So how did it go? Well, it's one thing to sort of measure things up and calculate them out. It's another to actually see them in the flesh. I reckon I could have turned that sheave another, 3 or 4 millimetres bigger. That way it would sit better. But the way it is, I'm going to have to trim something off the bottom of the stock. And there's not a lot of meat there. It looks just a little bit thin and fragile to me. I may have to do some mods. I may either return the pulley sheaves, or I might add some extra timber to the muzzle of the gun to beef it up a bit. I'm not too sure. It's not a showstopper, and it's not even a stuff-up, but it may require some adaptive management. You'll have to watch future episodes of Building the Terminator to find out what I really do.